is there's a great story about healing. There's a beautiful, beautiful way God healed him from childhood trauma. Hi, folks. Welcome to today's podcast. Just another book chat for you today. I have recently finished Lasting Ever. Now, this is by Rebecca St. James and her husband, Cubbie Fink. So if you don't know who they are, Rebecca St. James is a Christian singer. She's been around a long time. I actually never listened to her growing up. But we didn't have a lot of Christian music in our home growing up, mainly because it's not like today where we've got streaming so we can tune into Christian artists online. And we only had a couple of radio stations available to us living in the country. And being in Australia, Christian music's not a big thing. I think the only name I knew of in Christian music was Amy Grant and Steve Grace, so in the 90s and that. So I think I'd heard maybe of Rebecca St. James along the way, but I'd never heard her music. And so Rebecca St. James, so you probably know, many of you probably know who she is. I didn't for a long time. She is the sister of the Smallbone brothers that are in For King and Country, that group, and their movie that was released a little while ago, Unsung Hero, which is basically about Rebecca. So if you've seen that movie, that's who this is. And Cubbie Fink is her husband, who is a director, and he was involved in the movie as well. So I heard about this book because I listened to an interview on Dr. James Dobson's podcast where they interviewed Rebecca and Cubbie about their book. And I was like, oh, cool. I so want to hear that because I really wanted to know a bit more about Rebecca's upbringing. If you don't know, their family is Australian, and then they moved to the US when Rebecca was a teenager. So yeah, I was really curious to hear about their lives and know more about Cubbie. And it was a great book. I found it really encouraging. It was interesting to hear about their upbringing, but it was just overall really encouraging to hear about. Well, with Rebecca, I really resonated where she got to this place where she had to be, I guess, after being in the music industry and then stepping back as a mum and just dealing with that. Like, because you don't have to be famous to struggle with that. I've had that as well, having a career, and then you're going into motherhood and what this looks like now, and then you start to wonder what your just wonder about your place in life and things, and you're struggling with that change in identity, I guess. And then how she wrestled with that with God. I found it really, really encouraging to hear how she walked with God through her life and through her teen years, because I did not. I mean, I did walk with God, but not in a great way. It was a real battle for me. So that's really encouraging, and I think that's encouraging for anyone. I'd love for my daughters to even read this. For Cubbie, it was great to get to know him because I knew nothing about Cubbie. It was great to hear their romance story because Rebecca was very much part of the waiting movement of the 90s. I can't remember the actual word for that. And how that was a challenge for her to be quite a visible face of that movement. And then she was still waiting for her husband in her 30s. So anyone, who's been in that position or wrestling with that or has teenage girls, and that this is a great read. Just looking at it from that point of view, it's very encouraging. And it's encouraging for me as a mother as well, that even though I may not have done great in that department, others have. So there's, and I'm believing, my children can walk that path like Rebecca and Cubbie did, actually. And then learning about Cubbie, and what I found really encouraging from from his story is there's a great story about healing. There's a beautiful, beautiful way God healed him from childhood trauma. And it's a way I totally identify with. And I'm really glad that he was talking about it. And it was using the real visual gifts, um, which um, I've experienced as well. God's done a lot of healing with me through visions. And I thought that was really awesome to see that in the book, and particularly coming from a man. So that's really, really encouraging. And it's just amazing, um, how God loves us and he speaks to us through these ways. So I loved that part. And I also loved how he has gone through his life in different, operating in different gifts at different times. And then how he's come to a point now where he's felt it's all really come together. And I have to read this line because it really spoke to me. Um, so it says, there's an indescribable sense of rightness when we're operating at the center of our gifting, almost like our brains work in a different way. So it can look like, because he's been a missionary and he's a musician and then film directing, and it kind of looks like, okay, these look like very separate things, but eventually he comes to a place where he's using it all together, and he really feels that purpose. And both he and Rebecca went through a winter season, and just coming through that. It's just a really great read. It's really encouraging. It's not super thick, easy read. It's broken up into sections, so it's very well done in terms of how they've pulled their separate lives growing up into the same themes working together. So it switches from you'll get Rebecca's story, and then you'll get Cubbie's, like within the same chapter. It's all clearly written out whose story you're reading at that point in time. So it takes you on a journey from seen, heard, held, known, and then loved. So it's just beautiful. It's just encouraging. It's encouraging to read. It's interesting to read. And yeah, so I'll pop links in the show notes if you're interested to learn more about them and just be encouraged along the way as well. Okay, that is all for my book chat today. I don't want to, waffle on for long. It's been a bit, we've been quiet on the podcast. April was a really busy month for us. We were away a lot, and there's things happening because April's a beautiful month. April is when the weather starts to taper off, although it was still quite warm for a lot of April. And we have school holidays, Easter usually, and we just get busy out doing things. So that's why it's been a bit quiet on the channel at the moment. But I wanted to get that book chat out to you, that book review, and hopefully we'll be back again soon with another episode. All right, until then, I'll catch you later.